So with everything going on this year alone, things have been pretty shit and fairly stressful, due to the obvious hellscape that is 2020, and to be honest, the world just has been in for a long while, let's be fully honest. The urge to constantly doom scroll Twitter all day has been very, very tempting. And in these stressful times, a beacon of nostalgic light had fallen from the sky, a true return of a franchise lost to the grips of a greedy corporation that just didn't give a shit about its well-being whatsoever. Yes, I'm talking about me emulating a lot of the original Tony Hawk games because I don't have the money right now for Pro Skater 1 and 2, which looks really fucking good by the way. I've been playing a lot of different Tony Hawk games through recently because they just really nail a lot of really good shit that I just vibe with when it comes to arcadey sports games. It nails something in the brain that I only get from other games like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta or Metal Gear Rising. These games tick a certain element in the brain that just really gets the desire to get so much better at them going. As I played them over and over, I wanted to get to a point of understanding what exactly motivates the player to continue playing and mastering these games specifically. The main ones I want to discuss are 3, 4, and Underground. Pro Skater 3 is so fucking good and fun. It feels just so well constructed, like a perfect evolution of a series, up to the peak of its style. A perfect culmination of the first two Tony Hawk games, with great mechanical additions and great levels that just feel really good and fun to skate around in. I remember after first beating it, not being fully sure if I would return to it, but then after playing 4, I came right back and I beat it 2 more times. There was always this desire to get better and better, shoot for the higher combos and scores, shoot for the higher goals, just consistently master the levels. It just gives more and more content, consistently encouraging you with unlockables and rewards for completing things multiple times with multiple skaters. It wants you to master the mechanics and understand the levels. It wants you and absolutely loves when you nail 500,000 points on Cruise Ship. I funnily enough found myself rebooting this game back up over and over and over again to get better at the levels, unlock more levels and characters, get stat points, just completely submerge myself within the game's structure. The pretty fantastic level design, the goals that are generally challenging but fair to obtain and complete. Every level feels so well constructed. A mix of open spaces with good rails, manualing spaces, ramps for air tricks, high grinds, just such great levels, with my personal standouts being Los Angeles and Suburbia. Though I do like the verticality that levels like Airport and Cruise Ship in particular add to the game, even if I think aspects of Cruise Ship are sloppy.
Depictions of women excluded, like Jesus Christ guys, Neversoft girls, like really? The 90s was kind of fucking terrible.
Pro Skater 3 just really understands how to make a replayable, fun to master, entertaining game that doesn't want to waste your time. It wants you to have fun and improve and learn and grow as a player. It cares about fun, and the progression and unlock system understands that. Thank God they won't fuck that up. Pro Skater 4 is kind of more difficult to talk about and discuss as well because what motivates the player in this game, while sort of the same to 3, definitely takes a major shift away from that style and structure. There are still level goals, but now it removes the timer from the older games, opens the levels up a bit more, and motivates you specifically with the personality found within its levels, and with more and more content being pretty consistently unlocked via money or just completing challenges. Missions like the sketching on the Professor Stolen Car one in the college map, or the Stop Ranger Bob mission from Alcatraz, the levels rely more on wacky mission variety, with some gently encouraging you to get better at the game itself or teaching you core mechanics, but it's really just to see more of the generally entertaining missions. Though whoever made the slalom run mission on Kona can eat my ass in the not fun way. In college it's fine, because you have more than enough space to turn. But why is it also in London? Like, why do it this much? Were they enraptured by French cinematic masterpiece Slalom, which I did not look up for this joke? Fuck you. Why yes, Bam. I would love to throw tourists into the sea, thank you. But also fuck you, Bam. Why would you make this dumb bullshit dartboard bullshit, you chaotic fuck? Like, I think my biggest issue generally with 4 as a game itself is that it throws so much shit at the wall that it becomes unfocused on exactly what it wants to do, and the kind of game it wants to be. Some of the missions in particular don't feel fair or challenging. They just feel like a bullshit waste of your time that just isn't fun in any sense of the word. I mean, there's tons of find the thing quests with like zero direction type missions that are honestly just kinda awful to play through, but it also has really great missions, more so early on, and combo score missions that want you to use the newer mechanics like tricking on rails and flatland tricks. It teaches you better how to revert than it did at all in 3 and introduces spine transferring. It's a game that just needs more of the bad cut and needs better pacing. Though I would say that my want to play the game absolutely went down a bit when I kind of felt the levels getting worse as the game went on. Kona is fun, but the challenges are kind of boring or annoying. London is actually pretty solid all around. Shipyard is a bit too cramped and just has so many bail into the water points that have killed my combos so many times. Zoo fucking sucks. Like, genuinely just the worst map all around. It's not difficult or anything, but it just feels bad to skate around in. Everything feels way too small or way worse, cramped together for no reason. It's honestly a fucking mess. Carnival sucks quite a bit for honestly the same reasons. And Chicago's pretty inoffensive. It's, I think, better at least than Carnival. It's a game that is this transitional period between Pro Skater 3 and Underground where they clearly wanted to move in a more openish, non-goal oriented, fun direction, but they couldn't fully commit to it. So it's like this weird, not hybrid exactly, but more like they're very clearly torn between what they want to do moving forward and trying to adapt that kind of classical 1-3 style into it and just not succeeding with it. Even more specifically, it's a game that motivates you with content, which does sound nice at first. It's kind of like 3, right? But then you realize that most of the challenges and extra stuff just kind of pad the game out to annoying lengths. Completing the game in a skater's specific mission unlocks hardcore missions, which all feel not that fun. It's a game that wants you to replay it a lot, like 3, and go through it again and again, but it's genuinely so long, and some of the missions are genuinely so tedious, that by the end of the game, it's just genuinely fucking exhausting. I just kept thinking about better Tony Hawk games the closer to the end I got, which I didn't do with 3 at all. If some of the fat was trimmed, some of the missions didn't seriously suck, and some of the levels were a bit more tightly designed, then I would have honestly played this game with more than 2 characters probably. Hell, I honestly only even did the second one just to get my footage and develop more thoughts on the game, but it honestly killed my motivation to play it pretty much ever again. Whoa. Underground is quite honestly probably the best Tony Hawk game ever fucking made. Well, actually, that's American Wasteland, but that's a story for another time. Underground not only adds all of the mechanical additions that 4 added to the series, but also adds more of its own flavor. Wall planting, getting off of your board, hip transfers, and to a much, much worse and lesser extent, vehicle sections. Though thankfully, at least the vehicle missions tend to be so easy that I don't really mind the fact that they feel like you're just controlling a player character on a soapy road in a cardboard box. But what I really want to talk about with Underground specifically is what drives and motivates you to play it. You see, like I've said earlier, Pro Skater 3 motivates the player on rewards and the dopamine rush of getting better at it. 4 motivates the player in a similar way, though opts for missions with general personality, but desperately needs content trimmed. Underground does something a bit different. Some would say, completely different. Enter.
Check it, man.
Eric Sparrow. Eric Sparrow is your supposed best friend in this game. He alerts you to the fact that Chad Muska is going to visit your hometown. He wants and encourages both you and himself to work up and become pros. You get sponsored and go to Manhattan and eventually Florida together, but then he does the unthinkable.
Park's closed to the public. Now check the list. Eric Sparrow, a.k.a. the guy who's gonna win Best Trick tomorrow. A.k.a. Cocky Knucklehead. Okay, you're in. Whoa, easy there, Chief. The list's all checked off.
What? You signed us both up, right?
Well, I mean, I sent mine for him in, you know.
Dude!
He takes your place in the contest and purposefully leaves you out. It seems like an accident, but with the help of some pros, you make it in anyway and beat his ass in a competition, so it becomes somewhat water under the bridge, but still something that makes sense to hold a grudge about. Then, another occurrence happens. You get to Hawaii, and your big moment comes. You find a spot to do a sick-ass trick, and you pull it off, but for whatever reason, your dumb ass trusts Eric Sparrow to film it. In your foolish, naive mind, you think, oh, that was probably just some horrible mistake, genuine fuck-up last time. He couldn't possibly fuck me over again. He then proceeds to fuck you over again by stealing and taking credit for your sick-ass footage like a fucking weasel.
You poached my shots! Where's my footage?
Oh, man, I couldn't bring myself to tell you. See, there was this thing at Customs.
Lying sack of... Ugh!
Hey! We go way back, so I'm gonna forget you just did that. Now listen, I got 3 parties to hit, but you better go rest up for the amateur contest tomorrow.
causing you to almost not make it pro if it weren't for yet again busting some sick-ass tricks at a pro competition. This pattern continues into Moscow, where your stupid, dumb ass accepts this rat fuck's apology.
Sup, guys? Listen, I've been thinking, we can't keep this up. Remember how I used to torch action figures with you? I acted like a dork, I'm sorry, I got carried away.
And for doing that and being a good friend, Eric gets you kicked off of the team for stealing a tank and pinning it on you. Only for you to get back to Jersey, bust out some rad shit with pro skaters, and he comes trying to prove to you that his wealth means more than whatever shit you're choosing to skate for.
Heard your video went over pretty good. I guess kids dig that goofy soul skating crap. I tell you what, I'll buy you out for $500,000 right now. I got my checkbook.
I told you. It was never about the money.
Right, I forgot. Miss Pure, I should have fixed you back in Tampa.
That he sees himself as above and better than you. Then you beat his ass on his own fucking line in New fucking Jersey, and all he can do is shrivel like a fucking raisin and scream about how you are nothing when Eric's entire self-esteem is clearly from your misery.
I'm still better than you! You got lucky, you little punk! Slam City Jam in Tampa were nothing but lucky, little bitch! Get back here! You ain't nothing! I know I can kick your ass!
Eric Sparrow is a worm, a rat, an absolute fuck-faced little bastard. But doing everything in your power to spite him is the game's motivation. He is the core of the experience. The center of this universe is Eric Sparrow himself, and consistently beating his ass at skateboarding is the restorative balance to this said universe. The mechanics of the game itself even support this. Getting stats in the game isn't tokens, money, or anything like that. It's through building up your own skating skills, doing tricks, getting air, etc. It's all building yourself up to get better at skating so you can beat Eric's ass thoroughly. The missions completely support how petty and absolutely miserable it makes Eric when you succeed.
Whatever.
The only major desire to replay the game is for one thing, for one particular cutscene.
One last trip around the neighborhood. Winner takes the tape.
Punching Eric Sparrow in his stupid fucking face. After all the shit he's put you through, after everything you've done and everything you've worked for, you don't give a shit about honoring his stupid fucking challenge at the end of the game again. All you give any semblance of a shit about is just punching the fuck out of Eric. It's only a few seconds of screen time, but it's gratifying. This is what makes Underground worth playing. This is what motivates the player to finish Underground multiple times. Everything you do is in spite of Eric Sparrow. Every action from the second he fucks you over at the AmJam competition. I think it's a genuinely interesting choice to design a game around a character so hateable, so goddamn unlikable, just such a little fucking weasel bastard of a friend. It's honestly kind of incredible that Neversoft was able to craft Eric as a character, and I'm not surprised that they weren't really able to do it again. Even to the point of just reusing Eric, but to far lesser effect because he's the butt of the jokes in Underground 2, but it's not as cathartic in that game to see him as a shriveling little worm, and he's a douche in Project 8, but he's not this level of just like pure evil. Eric in this game doesn't just want you to not succeed, he wants you to be fucking miserable while he does it, like the weaselly bastard he is. And to use that as a major way to drive someone to play and replay the game is kind of fucking genius. It gives the player positive feedback for spiteful action. Like Titans of the spite genre before it, it stands as a genre masterpiece. Eric Sparrow will go down, and has gone down, as a true just bastard of a best friend. Just a real piece of shit. And in that, Tony Hawk's Underground is a masterpiece. Hey, thanks for watching all the way through. Hope you enjoyed the video. It would be cool if, if you enjoyed the video, just like leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell thing, maybe leave a comment, and share it with people who you think would enjoy it and all that jazz. Also have a Patreon. It would be cool to be able to eventually do this at some point, like full time or whatever. So if you want to just like throw me $1 or $2 or whatever, The link to that will be in the description, and I think you could still put up cards on YouTube. I forget. So that will be here if that is the case as well. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this, and hopefully I see you in the next video. And if you choose to subscribe, then welcome to the coven.